Well, the sun is out and I'm down the woods, back again with the Barra 1866. Oh yeah, it's cowboy time. I love it. It might not be, is it obvious? Hello and welcome. I'm Adam from Now Strike, and in my hands I have the latest CO2 rifle from Barra, which they call the 1866. Now it's clearly based on the Winchester model of that year. It has the underlever, and the brass frame historically is what gave it the nickname the Yellow Boy. Now a few weeks ago I released a unboxing video where we had a very close look at some of the features around this rifle. You may want to check that out first, but if you're interested in the performance and the accuracy of this CO2 replica, then stay tuned. Now, full disclosure, this rifle is not fresh out of the box anymore. It has been fairly well shot. It's been on our experience days, so customers have been able to pick it up and abuse it. It's probably had around about 500 or so pellets through it, and it's got a few dings where it's been manhandled and so on. But I must be honest, it is a quality piece of kit. It is absolutely held up really well with that punishment. And again, for full disclosure, I am going to say I have absolutely fallen in love with this. It is my go-to out of all the replicas which we have. I love it. It shoots great. It's balanced. It feels fantastic in my hand. And I am, as a result, going to do my absolute best to be as neutral as possible when I'm critiquing this and showing you how it performs. Now, straight away, I would like to talk about the finish. In the previous video, I was a little bit critical about the gold finish. It looks stunning, can't say anything different from that, but a little bit too bright for me. I would prefer an aged look. Now, what I have noticed through being in people's sweaty hands for so many hours, the finish is actually coming off. It's rubbing off and it's showing a bare metal almost underneath. So I don't really know why. I don't know how they have put the finish on, but Barra might want to consider different methods in future production. Now, I don't mind it. It's all the obvious places where people's hands go, and it is giving a much more patinaed look. But everything else has worn exceptionally well. The barrel is absolutely mint condition. The buttstock, I assume, will probably wear in the same way, but that's still nice and shiny. And the fake wood stock is still pretty pristine. Now I'm going to pause it there real quick, and fair warning, this is the most negative thing I'm probably going to be saying about this replica, because after filming these segments I decided to go back to base and compare the rifle you see in my hands with one which is brand new in a box which we haven't used yet. And the colour difference really is significant. The one which we've been using has faded so much in comparison, and I have absolutely forgotten how bright they actually are when you first open that lid. I estimate that this rifle's had about 8 hours worth of use, and that does include customer use for experience days. It absolutely does include my use because I've been using it an awful lot, but I don't consider that a very long time at all, especially not for the finish to have worn off as much as it has. It's clearly coming off through wear and tear, it's most likely through touch, and it's definitely exposing the base metal underneath. Considering this retails in the UK for £399, which is a fair investment for a replica airgun, I personally don't think it's good enough that the finish has been affected this quickly. Personally, I think it would be lovely if Barra would address the issue. Perhaps they could look at the processes used in the factories to apply the finish and maybe even consider alternatives, because I could imagine that there's probably going to be quite a lot of disappointed collectors out there. Of course, Barra do offer an alternative in an antiques finish. Now, I haven't actually seen one in person for myself, but I'm making the assumption it's going to be the same coating which they're using on the antique Schofields, as they're tend to be all made in the same factory anyway. It's probably the same antique finish which ASG are using, and therefore it's probably the same which Umarex are using. Therefore I can speak from experience on those. So if you want to have a finish which lasts really well and looks the same as it did first out of the box, then definitely consider the antique finish instead. I'd love to hear if Barra have anything to say about this, if they have anything to say at all, but if they do hear these points in any way, or any feedback like this gets back to them, I certainly hope that they take it constructively and they use it to improve what is already an absolutely fantastic replica rifle. And with that all being said, let's get back to the video. So let's get this set up and ready to shoot. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling rather underdressed. That's Bella. Before we get shooting, let's have a look at these little brass shells. Now, I think these are absolutely fantastic. You'll hopefully remember from the previous video that you load the ammunition into the back and then you load the rifle with these dummy shells. I think that it really makes the experience. It gives an uber realistic feel. It makes you feel like you're shooting the real thing. You do have to pick them up afterwards. They do fly everywhere and you have to search around, but that is part of the fun. One small annoyance with them is the silicone grommet, which holds the ammunition in place. It isn't fixed into the shell, so it does pop out quite easily. But I have this feeling that one of these one day is just going to hit the ground at exactly the right angle, and this grommet's going to pop out forever and it's going to be gone, because it's also mud coloured. So I'm going to try and resolve the issue myself by putting some glue in here, but it's just a bit of a shame really that they're not held in as tightly as they could be. Now, the other annoyance about these little brass shells is fresh out of the box, they were a bit tight for pellets. It is multi-ammo allegedly, and it will take BBs no problem. But despite the rifles putting out a lot of power, considering what it is, I found that shooting pellets straight away, it just wasn't pushing the pellets out of this grommet. What we did in the end, we put probably about 100, maybe 150 BBs through these collectively, and that seemed to loosen them up, and now it's shooting pellets really nicely. So just something to bear in mind if you get your own one brand new out of the box. Now, you'll remember from the previous video that it takes a couple of 12-gram CO2s and they're hidden inside this faux wood stock, and you access by pushing a little button, spring loaded, and the butt plate opens up. Inside is a hex key, and that will undo the little CO2 valve stopper on the end, and with a few turns that will come out. There it is. Now, the beauty about this rifle, and the similar one made by Umarex, is it can take two 12-gram CO2s which sit butt to butt like that, and you'll get maximum shots out if they're both full. But you can half gas these. You can put a full one in and an empty one which acts as a spacer, and you'll get maximum power but only half the shots. So I'm quite interested to see how many shots we do get out of this, not only with BBs but also with pellets. So I'm going to half gas it up. So we put a little bit of silicone oil on to keep the valve seal nice and fresh, and that goes in first, and then the other one goes in behind it, and replace the other end of the valve, and let's do that up until we hear the hiss of gas filling the system. There it goes, and an extra little turn just for luck. Now, speaking of annoyances, which I've discovered, and this is actually the same with the Umarex version as well, it does have a habit of only piercing one gas canister. no matter how hard you do it up. And obviously you want to be careful not to over tighten as well, so it's a bit of a fine balance. I have seen other people have solved the problem by putting a coin in between the cylinders, and allegedly that will fix it. I haven't tried that yet, maybe I will, but it is a bit of a pain. You get halfway through shooting and suddenly your power's gone and then you go, ah, it's empty. So you tighten it up and you hear another hiss. Small annoyance, but hopefully easy to overcome. I'm going to start by testing the standard non-adjustable open sights, and as we've got plenty of gas to play with, I'm going to do 20 shots on BBs first and then see how many shots we get afterwards with BBs. Then we shall repeat with pellets. So I'm using the standard Umarex 4.5mm. Tip some of those out, and of course these go into the bottom of the shell. Now this is quite an easy way of loading. Tip them out onto something where they won't run away and you can just push them in. Much faster to do than trying to pick them up by hand and pushing them in. 2 more. And we're ready. I find that lying it on its side on something soft is the best option, because when you're inserting these shells into the loading gate on the side, sometimes the mechanism on the lever doesn't quite sit right. It does have to be closed before you can load it up, but sometimes the gate just catches. So what I teach people to do is push the shell in, but not all the way, so it's still sticking out a little bit. And then the next one pushes it further in, and that sticks out. And the next one, repeat. Be a bit careful. There is a spring in there. They can come backwards, especially once they get some tension in. But again, if you let it stick out just a little bit, I find it just makes the process a little bit easier, because sometimes the shells retract a bit as well and also block up the loading gate. So if you stick to that method, it's relatively foolproof. Now I'm going to use this tripod because of course we're going for consistency. Emphasis on consistency. I'm not going to try and pretend I'm the best shot in the world, but let's see what happens. First of all, we need to rack this to get one into the chamber, and you have to be quite forceful with it. It's very well made, so you can be rough with it, but it is a very distinct, very definite ka-chunk. And you can visually verify there's one in there and it's seated properly, and it's a big old close. Now it has cocked itself, but remember there is a safety feature between the stock and the lever which has to be squeezed together before the trigger will be released. I personally find this is actually quite hard to get the knack of, because it is quite a big movement and you do have to squeeze it quite hard to be able to do so. So, fixed open sights, front and rear, no adjustment on them, a nice easy 10-metre target. Point of aim is going to be bang in the middle. Let's just see where they go. First one coming up. Ooh, I can live with that, it's right in the middle. Right, next one. Just below. Oh, that one was off, I think. Of course, I'm not expecting miracles with BBs. Okay, they're all on target. Seem to be favouring the right hand side a little bit. Again, that could be me. And we're out. Decock that, put it on safe, go find my shells. Let's have a quick look then. Okay, well that's not bad. 1, 2, right above ball, 1 below, but all on target. 1 wayward one, don't know what happened there. But let's put another 10 through, see what happens. Okay, another 10, loaded, safety off, good to go. Right, okay, take my time. There's no wind today, it's lovely. It's nice and warm. CO2 should be at optimum strength. Looks like I've put a few down the bottom. I am genuinely aiming right in the middle. And we're out. Safety back on. Go find my shells again. Again, let's take a closer look at, see what's happening here. And it looks like getting some grouping. So again, I don't think I missed any. I'm quite happy with that, considering they're BBs. So good sized little target, 10 metres. Now that's okay really, considering you're never going to get proper accuracy out of BBs. Let's face it, this is not a target rifle. This is a fun backyard plinking rifle, and that is going to be absolutely perfect for tin cans all day long. And that's 20 shots. Given Barra claim you get 60 out of 2 full gases, we can expect to get at least 10 more half decent shots out of it. But you know what, I really want to know how much this will actually shoot, because the Umarex does shoot a little bit more, and I suspect they're using the same hardware on the inside. So I'll speed the video up a little bit. Let's just shoot it until it runs out of gas. Oh, that was a miss. Could the gas be running out? Yep, that's hitting the board now. Gonna shoot through anyway. No, we're back in again. Getting a bit inconsistent. Okay. On the board again. Right, I'll double check my maths, but I think that was nearly 50 shots before it started going a little bit inaccurate, which I assume is probably the gas fluctuating a little bit. But that is more shots than expected on the target. Wow, nearly 50 shots on target, and it's not bad really for BBs, is it? It paints a picture. I mean, that's pretty darn good for 10 metres, I think. A little bit of grouping up here at some point. It seems to have drifted off towards the bottom left corner, and this is where I missed the black. And I think this is where they were just gradually dropping off towards the end, but I'll have a look at the other video and verify that. But Yeah. Now here's something else to be aware of. I'm just changing the gas bottle to reset for pellets, and one's come out and the other one is still in there. So what you need to do with them is give them a little tap on your foot. There it goes. And then of course, out she comes. Same with the Umarex. A little bit easier to fix with a Barra, I think, because of this butt plate. Let's move on to pellets. And I'm going to be shooting the very cheap, very standard Excite Hammer 0.177 pellets. Hammer, simply because they were on offer when I bought loads. So not as fast to load as the BBs, because obviously you have to put them in a very particular way. So it's a little bit slower to reload. Now, being unrifled smooth bore, I'm not again expecting miracles, but I would hope to see a little bit more accuracy, or consistency shall we say, with the pellets. Okay, same rules. Pellets this time, pointing at the dead centre of the target with the unadjustable sights. Smooth bore rifle, let's see what happens. Yep, I'll take that. Straight in the middle. Now, I am taking my time and concentrating, but please be aware that the smile on the inside is colossal. Oh, that's what we want to see. God, they're everywhere, these shells. Oh, a little bit low. That was me. I'm sure that was me, not the rifle. And we're out. Safety on. Go have a quick look and pick up the shells. Well, can't argue with that. For consistency, that's blown the middle out almost on the 9 ring. Safety off. Next 10 coming up the range. And we're out. Safety on. Well, I mean, I can see from here, I don't need to really go over there. There's a big hole in that target. I'd say that's consistent. It's actually getting a little bit hard to aim for the middle every time. That was my promise, I would aim for the middle. We can't really see the dot anymore. 10 more to go. Alright, let's just see when the gas runs out. This is 31. Might be on par with BBs at this rate. Here we go. Up. There we go. Hit the board. Slight delay between the pop and the smack. Back on the board again. Looks low though. Yeah. I would say that is out. Yeah. And that's the thing with pellets. When it's out, it just goes flat like that. Let's get that one out. Just make sure, yeah, the round hasn't even moved in it. But it's a good example because what I was talking about earlier with it jamming slightly when they were brand new, that's basically what they were doing, but with a full gas canister, of course. So that's out then. Oh, I love doing that. Doesn't get old. Right, safety on. Let's go have a look. Well, that tells a story. You can see where it started to drop off a little bit. That was the last one, I think, which actually hit the target before they started hitting the board below. But I mean, for a smooth bore rifle, albeit at a short 10 meters, which is about your plinking distance anyway, that's pretty darn accurate and consistent as well. It'd be nice to get rid of that red spot in the middle. It started to cut around it, and that was that one which I knew went high the moment I pulled the trigger. But let's compare to BBs. Slightly less consistency, I think you'll agree. One good learning point from that though, if you're not so bothered about the overall consistency as shown on the last targets and you are only just hitting tin cans, then BBs all day long. They definitely last a little bit longer, you get a few more shots out of it apparently. Of course the only thing you need to be careful of is ricochets, and I'm using a proper pellet catcher. Just for fun then, I've got some fresh gas in the stock, and now let's have a go with that long distance sight. Because you'll remember from the previous video, that flips up. Now, I have already had a little shoot. I've tried to set the distance so I can at least get the pellets on target. It's out at a whopping 25 meters, which with iron sights is going to be a little bit of a challenge. Probably point of aim is actually going to be below the actual target because this is tiny for this range with these sights. So purely for fun, just to see what this can actually do, let's send 20 or 30 rounds down there and just hope for the best, I guess. Alright, here we go. Now I'm going to be using the lower of the two sights. I shudder to think how far I'd have to put it out for the upper one. So point of aim below the target by about a millimetre. Nice and steady. And that was a miss. Let's try going a bit lower. Oh, I heard a ding. Can't see where it went though. Go a bit lower still. Oh, in the black, I think. Okay, well that was a good 3 millimeters lower. Sounds like on the target again. Right, here we go. Yeah, I can see that. Looks like 6 o'clock. I think that was a hit. The other video will let us know. That was a miss. There's a hit again. Another miss. And that's 10. Let's go have a quick look. Oh wow, okay, that's better than I thought I'd do, if I'm honest. I'll take that one. Don't know which shot it was, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Definitely had a few misses. That might have been one. Well, let's do 10 more. Next 10. I can't believe I got that bullseye. Just below the target. Oh, that sounded like a solid hit. Saw some movement. Okay, I think I might have my point of aim sorted now. He says that as he bounces one off the edge. No idea. Absolutely no idea. Another hit. Almost wonder if the power's dropping off a little bit. I'd imagine it's something you don't notice at shorter distances. And of course the CO2 has an effect on these. The shots lose a bit of power as the rifle gets colder. But I mean, I'm definitely hitting it. Challenge anybody to try and do the same. Let's go find out. Oh wow. Okay, that was much better than I thought it was. Significantly better than I thought it was. Well, I've got gas. Let's do 10 more and just see what happens. Oh, that was a miss. Back on the board. Another hit. I wonder if it's dropping off. I know I said that already. Of course, if I check the other footage, I'm getting bullseyes. I'll take it back. No, that was a miss. And that's all 30 shots done. Right, I could carry on, apart from having fun, as I genuinely am. I don't think there's much point at this distance, because the moment that gas starts to go, I think it is going. It sounds like it's taking longer from the pop on the rifle to the clunk thud on the other end. So, probably would be fine for shorter distance as earlier. Okay, yep, happy with that. Wow, I wasn't expecting that, I'll be honest, because I did have a practice round and, well, let me grab it. That was me getting the distance right and my eye in, so you can see where I've covered them up so I know which shots I've landed, but yeah, get rid of that one. Compared 10 metres, 25, can barely see it. I mean, that's all that, it's not me. That right, it is pure credit to that. Phenomenal. Now I think it's time to use this rifle for what it's really for. Tin cans at about 10 metres, let's do it. Oh, you beauty. Now I'm confident that this will cut those cans in half if we had more ammo and more gas, but it's still got water in, so what do you say we empty it? There we go. And the other one. Yes. 3 reasonable tests and 3 reasonable results. BBs being closest. I was reasonably happy at the time when I shot it, but it would have been nice to perhaps have seen a little bit more consistency out of it. It started really well because I was hitting the middle dead centre, and then later on it seemed to drift gradually to the right and became a bit more inconsistent. And maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on that. It could be user error, of course, and it certainly could be fluctuations in the gas levels as we shot. But although you'll never get massive consistency and accuracy out of BBs, it would have been nice to see them splattering a little bit closer together in general. I'd be curious to maybe repeat this test with one of the Umarex rifles and see if Umarex are more geared up for BBs perhaps than Barra are. But I would take this at this stage as saying this rifle clearly prefers pellets. With the pellet one at 10 metres, it's blown the centre out. A slight drop off as the gas has run out, but again, all on target and very, very consistent. Considering that this is not a target rifle, it is just a fun back garden plinker. I think that's exceptional. And what really, of course, blows my mind is this one, the 25 metre target. Now, having rewatched some of the footage from the target cam, it's very clear that I couldn't see it because whenever I was going, oh, that wasn't very good, or missing, they seem to be landing in this zone here, which is phenomenal, really, considering, again, what this rifle actually is made for. I wasn't really expecting to hit it at all, but this became a lot of fun after a while, and I'm definitely going to be doing this again to try it. I might try the Umarex as well, see if it can match it, but the sights are different on it, so we'll see. But the Barra, phenomenal. Well, it certainly tells me that it's a fantastic replica rifle. Great fun to shoot, an absolute bonus that it's as accurate as this. I hope that this lasts many, many years to come, and I will certainly be shooting it for that time. The novelty of this has not worn off. Now, I'm a massive fan of all of the replica style CO2 pistols and rifles, and for me, this is definitely one of my favourites now. Make your own mind up. Let me know what you think in the comments section. I've been shooting this a lot, so if I've missed anything, feel free to ask questions and I'll either make a video of it or I'll answer as best as I can. Now, in the arsenal, we have 2 of these rifles at the moment. They're so popular, I may even get some more. Definitely going to get one for myself because clearly I've fallen in love with it. If you would like to have a go with this very rifle and just about any of the Western replicas on the market, then do check out our experience days. 2 hours of Western fun, and we'll be dressed up, and we certainly encourage you to be dressed up and embrace everything from Hollywood to history. Do you want me to do more videos? Would you like me to do more of these type of videos with the other replicas which we've got, and maybe even some which I've personally got? Again, let us know in the comments section and I'll program it in for another day. So a big thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to strike that notification bell. I'll see you next time with something just as exciting with Now Strike. That doesn't get old.